Being joined by Joachim Bitterlich from Normandy in France. He's a former German ambassador to NATO. Welcome to the broadcast, Mr. Bitterlich.
Good morning.
I'd like to begin my first question. Now, amidst claims and counterclaims, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has alleged that Hamas may have held hostages at Gaza's Al-Shifa hospital, and hospitals are getting attacked. Now, two questions here. Firstly, is Netanyahu implying that attacking hospitals will get the hostages out? And secondly, Netanyahu also acknowledged that they have been unsuccessful in minimizing harm. They have been unsuccessful in minimizing harm while carrying out strikes in Gaza. So does that mean the humanitarian crisis will just continue and nothing can be done about increasing sufferings of civilians in Gaza? I'd like to begin. I'd like you to first answer my first part of the question. And if you want me to repeat, please let me know.
Well, if you look at the situation as it develops, there is, in my eyes, no doubt that Hamas has been using hospital infrastructure insofar, but how far, question mark. And this we cannot see exactly because we have two information, one from the Israeli side, the other one from Hamas side. But I do not have any doubt about this, but they have used it. But how far, we do not know exactly. On the other hand, it's clear, the longer this catastrophe, this war is lasting, the more Israel is going towards what I call a trap in politics. Because he will come under pressure. He is not interested at all in a rapid ceasefire or in pauses, but the pressure will be higher and higher against Israel. Israel will come more and more, let's say, into difficulties here. As at the same time, you are right, they can't avoid what I call collateral damage in this war. This means civil casualties.
So what is the solution now? I mean, do we say that Israel has achieved what it wanted in Gaza?
Partly, perhaps, yes, but not entirely at all. And I don't think that Israel will be able to reach, let's say, its end goal. I don't think so. What they should now foster together with the Americans and some other friends is how to create a real Palestinian administration, even in Gaza. And therefore, I think Antony Blinken is right to warn the Israelis not to raise pressure or to raise tensions on the West Bank, neither. And therefore, the real problem of Gaza has been and is still, Gaza has been, let's say, has become a sort of pauperizing zone, a zone without future. And in any zone without future, you create extremism. And therefore, I think the Israelis would be wise to follow more the American political aims supported by the Europeans.
Now, you say that Gaza has become eventually at this point in time, after relentless strikes by Israel, a place with no future. And I would like to ask you that Netanyahu said that Israel will pursue this war against Hamas till the very end, with the humanitarian crisis spiraling further and further and only deepening. Now, what does he mean by the end? Eradicating Hamas, you may say, but at what cost now? What else is left?
You are entirely right to raise this question. I understand totally the Israeli claim to destroy, to eradicate Hamas. I understand it. But how far this will go, how far, let's say, Hamas is existing and how far you are able to distinguish between Hamas and civilian people in Gaza. How are you able to do this? And I think they are, let's say, part of a population which is under pressure from Hamas. Others are following Hamas. They are their heroes. To distinguish between these different, let's call it, classes of people is nearly impossible. And therefore, I spoke in the beginning about a trap Israel is risking going towards more and more. And therefore, I think the Americans and other friends, even the Egyptians, or the Saudis and the Qataris should help now to find let's say, a way out, face-saving for the Palestinian side and especially face-saving for the Israeli side. This is the importance for me.
And Mr. Bitterlich, what about the hostage situation? I mean, they say that they have been, carrying out strikes because the hostages are held underneath the hospital and that's where they are held. But when do we see any development on the hostage crisis, on the release of hostages? Families are waiting to hear some news on that front.
I understand entirely the Israeli goal to get the liberation of the hostages, and Hamas is playing with this. And this is the ugly side of the war, that Hamas is really playing with this. Let's say perhaps we will allow the liberation of 50 hostages if we get 3 days, let's say, of ceasefire or new humanitarian and other aid, etc. This is the ugly side of a war. I don't think that we have become nearer, let's say, to the liberation of hostages. And let's hope that the Qataris and others are continuing really their efforts to liberate hostages. This is really the ugly side of the war. I don't think that we have seen a real progress since the beginning.
Thank you, Mr. Bitterlich, for joining us and giving us your time and giving us all those insights. Thank you.
As always, with pleasure. Goodbye.